Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Super Bowl Boomer and the Sun podcast, where me as the Sun and Boomer talk about your unique perspectives on basketball, football, whatever sports you guys want us to talk about. Put in the comments. Today, Super Bowl 56. I mean, it was a wild one for sure. Definitely better than last year, but compared to these crazy games that we've been seeing recently, I mean, it wasn't the best game ever, but I thought it was a pretty good one, especially because I was cheering for OBJ and my Rams. But Boomer, your Bengals, they didn't look too great today. What did you think about that Super Bowl?
I got to tell you the truth, I was pretty depressed about it all. I mean, I thought that final drive, this is like some kind of baloney that they wanted the home team to win. They called that penalty on Wilson for holding. Hold? Are you kidding me? The guy just had his hand on the guy, for God's sakes. That's the difference between really fourth and seven or fourth and seven and first and goal on the one. Like, it was ridiculous, just like a totally ridiculous call that had nothing to do with anything. That's what cost them the game. And I honestly thought that missed extra point by the Rams early on was going to be what was going to cost them the game. And it looked like it was going to come down to that because they couldn't kick a field goal. There's no point doing that. And it looked like the Bengals had held. But I mean, how many opportunities did they give them? Like 6, 7, 8 cracks inside the 10-yard line. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anybody can score there. Why don't you just hand them the game? Why bother playing? So no,
Mm,
I'm not happy about how it turned out. I thought it was. I thought the Bengals deserved to win that. I thought the referees, who really did a great job, I thought, of staying out of the game, all of a sudden decide they're going to throw a flag on every single play until the Rams got in there. So yeah, congratulations, Rams. I'm glad that the bureaucrats or the mafia inside of the NFL decided to give you that game. Congratulations.
See, Boomer, here's I guess the difference between my generation and your generation. Back when you were a kid and when you were growing up, everything just kind of seemed to be unfair, you know? It was just the way it went. Now things are a little bit more equal, and that's called a makeup call. What happened today? Um, Ramsey was held by his face mask on that last Bengals touchdown. So it was just kind of they were due to get a kind of a weak call called against them. I mean, it was a hold. You can't deny there was a bit of a hold there. It probably shouldn't have been called, but if you just look at how the game went, that's a hold because you got to make that makeup call or else the game would have been decided by the refs. It's really a lose-lose situation, honestly. But after you make that first call, you have to call that hold on Wilson, or it's a rip off for the Rams. I mean, realistically, it kind of came down to the real AD in LA. No, not Anthony Davis, Aaron Donald getting it done. Not a sack, but a game winning pressure and pretty much a sack at the very end there. You saw him holding up his hand, showing that ring, and he got it. I thought maybe he should have been Super Bowl MVP, but your Bengals, they sucked at the end. The O-line collapsed at the end of the game. It kind of reminded me of the Jimmy G San Fran game. It's like, when was it going to just hurt them? When was the Jimmy G interception going to hurt them at the end of the game? When was the Bengals O-line going to hurt them? It was the end of the game. It just kind of ended up happening at bad times for both teams. So I'm sorry about that. I called it.
Yeah, you know what? Aaron Donald, forget about it, man. He was like pretty much invisible for most of the game until that crap he pushes out the quarterback. Definitely a penalty, unnecessary roughness, no question about it as far as I'm concerned. The guy was going out of bounds, he pushes him. That's crap. You got to protect the quarterbacks. And because the Zebras decided, oh no, it's not in the script here to call a penalty on Aaron Donald. So of course, the Bengals, they got to defend their quarterback and they go after him big time. What does that do? That's not a good thing because that gets Aaron Donald all fired up. And actually, from that point on, he was very visible. I want to just say, like, Aaron Donald, yeah, great defender. The guy was on the freaking bench resting. Resting? What the hell? You're a football player. You're resting in the middle of the game. not playing. And meantime, Cincinnati goes in and scores a touchdown. What the hell is that? This is the guy that you said should be the most valuable player in the game? Man, resting. I'm surprised he didn't rest at the end of the game. Well, I'm getting kind of tired, coach. Please take me out. What the hell was that?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen wide receivers do that before. I've seen Diggs do it, but honestly, in the Super Bowl, it is kind of weak that you're sitting out multiple plays at a time. Like, did Aaron Donald just skip cardio at the gym or something and just hit weights? Maybe, but guess what? He's got a ring, and no one on that Cincinnati Bengals team's got a ring. So maybe it was for the better that he started resting. I mean, this Rams team, they had to win a Super Bowl. They traded away their entire future for Stafford, for Von Miller. This was the team. This was the team. And they did it. You know, you got to tip their hat to the Rams. They played a great game. If OBJ is playing, they're probably winning by 97 points, to be honest. But he didn't, and they still pulled it out. But I don't think this Rams team is going to go on some huge run unless OBJ can come back. I hope he didn't tear his ACL. But a wise man once said, good teams win. Good teams win. Great teams cover. The Rams couldn't do that tonight. So that's why I don't have too much faith in them going forward. But if OBJ comes back, they're covering this game. So they could be a great team, but rather just a good team.
Before we talk about OBJ anymore, and we'll get to him soon enough, but I'm gonna say that I'm kind of beginning to believe more and more in my theory about the WWE running this whole thing. When I stop and think about it, probably the only reason Donald rests. I mean, come on, the guy's a professional football player. He's a defender. He's supposed to play the whole damn game. He's not supposed to be like resting on key downs. Oh, you know what, coach, I'm tired. Take me out. I think it's because he already knew the script. WWE. He's like, man, I don't have to be in there because it doesn't make a difference. In fact, I'm supposed to be out because they're supposed to take the lead back. They're supposed to come back and make it look like a game, and then we're going to go down there. And if we can't figure out how to do it, then the Zebras are going to give us some good calls until we can get in the end zone. So it looks like WWE really did merge with the NFL, and this was probably pre-scripted. What a coincidence. 2 years in a row, the home team is in the Super Bowl and wins. 2 years in a row. What are the odds of that? I'd say this basically like 1,000,000,000 to 1, unless the WWE is doing your planning to kind of give you the great ending that everybody wants to see. Everybody goes home happy, the confetti's in the air, and everyone's smiling and going, so, man, I got to keep watching that NFL. It's amazing.
I mean, it's an interesting theory, but at the end of the day, you're just salty that your team blows. Joe Burrow blows, the O-line blows. And honestly, that O-line, I think I'm gonna do it for them. I'm gonna take a plane out from Canada all the way to Cincinnati. I'm gonna personally hand every single one of them a Subway application because they should be making sandwiches. They should not be in the NFL. How do you guys collapse so often? The fact that the Bengals even made it to the Super Bowl is crazy. And another reason I don't think it's fixed is because why would the NFL want the Bengals in the Super Bowl? The Bengals, the Cincinnati freaking Bengals.
Hey, dude, have you ever heard of the term underdog? Everyone loves an underdog.
I think people would have rather seen the Jets.
Anybody who really cares about football was cheering for those Bengals, man.
I think people would have rather seen the Jets, though. I think people would have rather.
Everyone hates the Jets. You kidding me? They're from New York, man. Nobody likes the Jets. Who likes the Jets?
I think the best underdog story. Hypothetically, I'm not saying it's scripted. I don't think it's scripted at all. But if the NFL was scripted, I think the ultimate story would be Mike White going to the Super Bowl and taking down Tom Brady. I think that if that happened, the NFL is scripted. But no. This is just one team being more talented than the other without, in my opinion, their most valuable player, Odell Beckham Jr. Boomer, you've worked in the medical field before. What do you think about Odell Beckham's injury? What do you think it could be?
I'm pretty sure he blew out his ACL. That was kind of a the way that he caught his foot. You saw that it was like his leg planted and his femur, like his thigh, went forward, and he was in pain immediately, quite a bit of pain. And I think he was able to wait there, but I mean, he really that's ACL mechanism right there, like just basically a forward slide. That baby's done. That baby is done. I mean, I'd be stunned if they told me it was anything but an ACL tear that he suffered at that point, because recognizing this guy's a pro, he wants to win. If it was anything less, he would have been back in the game. It's
Do you,
not like, oh,
do you
and
think
it
Odell
wasn't a
will be
bruise. He didn't
back?
take a hit.
Do you
Nothing. It
think
was just
Odell will be back next season?
maybe the end of the season. I mean, it's gonna be a while to recover from that one, man. That's it's a big hit. And again, I'm not like a huge fan of Odell, although I'll tell you that today played great. That touchdown catch that he made was absolutely fantastic. I thought the throw, I kind of make a lot of fun about Matt Stafford, but that throw was absolutely brilliant. The catch was brilliant. I mean, it was a great play by a really top quality. Only the best kind of wide receiver can make a play like that. That was very, very nice. And so, yeah, I feel bad for him. I mean, but you know what? He won the Super Bowl, the fake Super Bowl, like the WWE Super Bowl. So he's got himself a ring. It's probably gonna be like probably a plastic ring, anyways. With kind of fake baubles on it. I'm gonna spend big money on fake Super Bowls. So next year, I don't even know where the Super Bowl is. Let me look it up. But Super Bowl 57. I wonder where it is, because we can pretty much predict who's going to win, wherever it is. If it's going to be, let's say it's going to be in Miami, then hell, the Miami Dolphins are suddenly going to become Super Bowl champions, man.
Boomer.
That would be a nice scripted story right there.
I mean, I guess we'll put you through
Minus,
to the test and come back next year and see if you're right. But kind of talking about OBJ quickly, the reason I felt so bad for Odell is not just because he's worked his whole career to get to the Super Bowl. He plays good at the start of the game. He gets the touchdown, and then he goes down with that same ACL injury that he had before. The reason I felt the most bad is because he was going to get a lot of money from an NFL team this offseason after playing on a prove it deal, especially because he took it in Bitcoin. He was making no money from that. And I don't think any solid team is going to give Odell Beckham Jr. a big contract after what just happened to him. So I did feel pretty bad for Odell Beckham Jr., but he still got the ring, so I felt happy for him. But Boomer, where is this next Super Bowl? In Super Bowl 57.
let me look that up, my man. Super Bowl 57 will be, and I guess so. We just kind of find out 57. Let's see where it's going to be. It will be scheduled to be played in Arizona. So the Cardinals, man. The Cardinals. State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. So Cardinals, very nice, very nice. I guess they should start kind of making the ring already. It's going to be interesting.
I mean, recently Kyler Murray did just delete all of his pictures with the Arizona Cardinals, and he just unfollowed them on Instagram. So who knows? Maybe 3 years in a row, the Super Bowl is hosted by the home team. The home team is playing in the Super Bowl. 3 years in a row, the home team is playing in the Super Bowl. But the Arizona Cardinals win it, not with Kyler Murray, but with Aaron Rodgers. An Aaron Rodgers for Kyler Murray trade happens, and the Cardinals go win the Super Bowl next year in Arizona. Mark my words right now. I'm still
Now,
not saying it's staged.
I think that the better theater is that Aaron Rodgers goes to San Francisco. Jimmy G goes to Arizona and wins the Super Bowl in Arizona. There it is, right there. That, my friends, is some WWE spectacle right there.
Why would Arizona trade Why would Arizona trade Kyler Murray for Jimmy gag, garbage, goofball, Garoppolo. Why
I
would
think
they ever
it's,
make
you
that
know
trade?
why? There's one reason and one reason alone. Oh, with the number one most handsome quarterback, then under this new system in the NFL, I think that you're the home team. So I think that you win. I think it's pretty much automatic. So I'm really looking to see Kyler Murray sign with somebody else and they just pick up Jimmy G as a free agent. They just let Kyler walk. I don't think he doesn't have value because he doesn't look as good as Jimmy.
Yeah, I guess you cracked the NFL code. I think you might actually just disappear. Roger might he might deport you. You figured out the code of the NFL and you're gone. So, guys, if we never see Boomer again, it's because he cracked the code. If you never see this YouTube channel again, it's because Boomer has cracked the code to the NFL. Boomer, speaking of cracking the code, someone cracked the code to being the best wide receiver ever. And I think someone's got to give Cooper Kupp his props for being the best wide receiver in the league. This guy completely dominated this game today in that fourth quarter. It started off with that 4th-and-1 run. And then after that, it was lights out. Cooper Kupp, the triple crown, the offensive player of the year, the Super Bowl MVP. What more can you ask from Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, he was pretty amazing, but he almost cost them at the end of the game. He's lucky that that foolish lineman, I'm not sure who it was. It's number 75. Who is 75 on the Bengals? That
He's getting a Domino's application. Doesn't really matter who he
I
is.
know he's the guy who's going to be working at Domino's. He took unsportsmanlike here, Isaiah Prince. Yeah, Isaiah Prince, second year guy. He took that stupid unsportsmanlike penalty. That would have been that because Cup did get a penalty on that play. They would have moved back 5 yards, right? Unfortunately, didn't come to fruition. Again, I didn't actually see number 75 do anything wrong enough to throw a flag, but I think that they had to even it out because they realized, oh my God, there's no freaking way the Rams are scoring all the way from the 6. So we better even this baby out. And boom, right back to the 1 yard line. So away you go. Thanks, NFL Mafia. Really appreciate that support.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same story as last year, honestly. It's like I've seen this movie before. The team with the offensive line completely blows. Just like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs last year, Patrick Mahomes had no time. They lose. You look at, I don't know if you remember the Cam Newton versus Peyton Manning Super Bowl when the Broncos destroyed the Panthers. Cam Newton had no time in the pocket. He was getting sacked, strip sacked like crazy. He couldn't do anything. The O line is a huge deal. It's not like a super sexy position. Bill Belichick, huge fan of the O line because he knows those gritty guys down in the trenches. They mean a lot more than you think. So the O line eventually cost them the game. But another thing that cost them the game is I said it before the game, they wore black jerseys. No one ever wins the Super Bowl in dark jerseys. It's always the white jerseys. It's always the white jerseys. They also won the coin toss. The past 7 Super Bowl winners have lost the coin toss. I don't know what they're thinking doing those two things. It was just a silly move by the Bengals. They kind of lost the game once the game already started, you know?
It's kind of surprising to me, actually, given how superstitious football players are and athletes are in general, that they didn't wear the white. That seems like a fairly simple thing. I mean, I think that I guess they like their blacks. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of their jerseys anyways, but all fairness, all joking aside, I mean, I think your point about the offensive line is totally correct. I mean, they seemed to really handle Donald very well in the beginning. lot of double teams, and Von Miller too. They really kind of kept them from causing much trouble. But in the second half, they really started to stunt. Von Miller was stunting. Remember that one blitz or a sack that Von Miller had? I mean, that was just beautiful. But again, a stunt. He really came in like totally untouched. A great move on his part. I think they must have gotten tired. I don't know if they changed their scheme. I know certainly LA changed their scheme and the way that they were attacking, and they weren't able to adjust. And a guy like Burrow, even though he's pretty good at getting rid of the ball, he just didn't have enough time at the end to make the plays. He couldn't get his receivers open. And then, give credit to the secondary for LA as well for covering the guys, to making it hard for him to throw the ball. I thought he did a great job with what he had, and I really thought he was going to pull it out. I'm still a little bit perplexed in terms of kind of what exactly they were doing. The play choices with their 3rd and 1. It was really a fourth, like a 2nd and 1, because you knew they were going to go for it on 4th down at the end of the game. So they really had 4 downs and 2 downs to get 1 yard. You can't get 1 yard. That's pretty disappointing. I mean, honestly, at that point, I know that there's not a whole lot of time left, but remember, they didn't need to score a touchdown. They've got an amazing kicker. All they need to do was just get into field goal range, even distant field goal range. I mean, these guys are good, man. Like, they're really good kickers. But you got to get the first down. You got to get the first down. I thought that was a weak call on the running play, and I don't know why they don't even just run himself. I mean, like, just kind of get that 1 yard and start a fresh set of downs. Instead, they kind of goofed it up, and that last play again, you think, roll out, do something to get rid of the pressure, like do something that could create some openings and give him maybe a chance to run for it. Instead, it was kind of more like a traditional pocket play. I mean, and it was weak, and the pocket had been collapsing rapidly as the game progressed, like more and more rapidly. It seemed like, that Donald benefited from the rest that he had in the first half, and really had a lot of energy, and the O-line was running out of gas. And if that's the case, though, I mean, again, you got to adjust your protection. This is all you need is a yard, 1 yard. And so, yeah, very, very disappointing finish. Like, really kind of pathetic, actually, really, when you kind of watch the game. It was pretty anticlimactic. I was really hoping that they would come downfield, make a nice pass, and make LA really work for the victory, but it was not to happen. It didn't happen, and I guess you give credit to the Rams, but yeah, at that point they're definitely disappointed in the Bengals and their play calling. Like, they just kind of tightened up a little bit too much. The final thing is, I don't know if Burrows was injured or not, and that could have made a difference too, because obviously if he's got a pretty sore knee, it's going to be pretty hard for him to roll out or do anything very effective. And again, I don't know what happened. He was screaming on the ground towards the end of the game there when somebody landed on his knee. So I'm not sure if he actually was injured or not, and that may have played into it. But like you said, it was kind of a pretty anticlimactic finish to it, what I thought was a very, very good game.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with that a little bit, because I thought it was a pretty great finish. I also almost called the finish. I thought it was going to end with an AD strip sack, but it just ended with a huge defensive play by AD, putting a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow. But I think this was a great ending. If this is Aaron Donald's last game ever, the fact that he got to end it with a defensive stop, it's kind of just like a great wrap up to his career. He said he was going to think about ending it if they won this year. I think he's like a top 3 defensive player of all time. The guy's won the defensive player of the year like so many times, and he's just been so dominant. There's never a time where this guy isn't getting double teamed. And I honestly thought it was a great ending to a pretty awesome game. I'm happy the Rams didn't blow them out. I'm not happy that Odell got injured, but it was good for the game that Odell got injured, because they would have won by 97.4 points if he was playing. It would have been a massacre. So
In your dreams, my young man, in your dreams.
So I guess we'll see what happens with the Rams next year. We'll see what happens with Odell in the offseason. We'll definitely be here talking about this NFL offseason and see where Rodgers goes. See if Brady really does retire. See what happens with Deshaun Watson. Stay tuned, guys, because this is going to be a crazy NFL offseason, and the NBA season is just starting to ramp up. So are the Olympics. Boomer and Son is starting to get into full gear right now. Boomer, what are your kind of last thoughts on this Super Bowl Sunday episode?
Well, like I said, I'm pretty disappointed that the Mafia didn't decide to choose the Bengals to win this one because I really thought that they deserved it. I thought it was a fun game. I'm with you, Aaron Donald, tip your hat to the guy. Incredible career. If he goes out with that last play in the Super Bowl, it would be a great legacy for sure. But the Bengals will be back next year. I'm not even a Bengals fan, but I love the Bengals. I love how they play. I love how they manage to get sacked and still get up and keep playing and keep coming back. I really, really want them to win this year. It's been a rough go for those guys. I don't think, in fact, I know they've never won a Super Bowl. I'm sure that the other Boomer was cheering big time and he's heartbroken tonight. But you know what? Let's get them next year. Well, at least get to the Super Bowl next year. Of course, Arizona's going to win it, but at least you can get there.
All right, guys. We will see you soon on the next episode of Boomer and Son. Have a great day.
Ciao, everyone.